Good morning, best ball drafters. Happy Week 17 find out day. Happy NFL schedule release day. We get to find out if any of our drafts have paid off with the Week 17 correlation going forward, on top of what our draft strategies will be here the rest of the draft season. We have one major game already announced, which I'll touch on here in a second, and it correlates to a certain extent with the draft you see on board. What I did was I drafted this yesterday morning about 6 o'clock. The only games that were announced at that point were the international games. So I think I've got quite a bit of value on some players after the Week 17 one in particular being announced. If you guys want to stick around for future videos, make sure to subscribe, comment on what you want to see from us. Alex, my partner on this channel, will be doing an in-depth analysis of all the Week 17 games, and he's the expert when it comes to that stuff. He'll tell you all the sneaky ones, all the ones you want to avoid, that kind of good stuff. So make sure to stick around, find out some more information, hopefully help you climb that fantasy ladder. So let's talk this massive best ball Week 17 matchup. The first one announced, and they couldn't have announced a better one. Cincinnati Bengals are playing the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City, and I am so happy I got some of these pieces in this draft because it's going to be a lot harder to get them, especially with some of these stacks going forward. We'll start on the Bengals side, just touch on them, and then go to the Chiefs since there's a little bit more variability with the Chiefs. The Bengals, you're going to see Jamar Chase going 101 now. And I'm not afraid to say that. It's not always going to be every draft, but you're definitely going to see it happen. People are going to want the best receiver in this game. Arguably with Kelsey, tight end, not receiver, but still best pass catchers in the game. Jamar Chase has the upside of 40-plus points. I think it's going to be a similar situation to what Tom Brady, Mike Evans did last game. What stack you get out of this game that achieves that, your guess is as good as mine. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow probably are the ones that have the highest chance of that happening. So you're going to see him go 101. T. Higgins, I believe in the draft I'm doing here, he went at the end of the second. I think he took the 24th pick, if I remember correctly. I'm not exactly sure about that, but he will definitely move up in ADP. He'll be a middle of the second round pick. Tyler Boyd's going to go a lot earlier. People are going to start taking a lot more flyers on Joe Mixon, Chase Brown, even Irv Smith. You're going to want that more of your stack because it's going to be strong. It is going to be a strong team, and it just makes the prices so much higher knowing that they're going to have a super high-scoring game in Week 17. For the Kansas City Chiefs, the premium stack is probably going to be next to impossible now. I can see Travis Kelce going as early as pick 2, truthfully, and that's just if you want to reach for him and you think he's going to be the best receiver in the game, essentially, at tight end, he's going to have a lot of points. We've seen Kelce put up close to 30 multiple times, over 30, I'm not so sure, but I know there's been a lot of games where he's gone close to 30, and if he's Mahomes' number one target, catches a couple touchdowns, that's going to have that high-end upside. So I think 2 is a real possibility. More likely that his ADP will probably fall around pick 4 or 5 still. I got him at 6 in this draft, luckily. I don't think you'll ever see him there again. 4 is probably the most realistic spot behind C-Mac, in my opinion. As far as Kadarius Toney, who I got around 67, I think if I'm staring at the small lettering on the screen right, I think that's where his ADP is going to start going, and even maybe a little bit sooner than that, because he has the Tyreek possibility. That's what they're saying all now, and if he's scoring Tyreek-like numbers when the year gets going, he's going to be a real value even at pick 60. It's kind of crazy to think about that he might have that much of an upside at that low of a pick, but you also got the whole wide receiver room that's so uncertain. We saw it last year where not really anybody produced consistently and safely, not those big numbers that we wanted out of the Kansas City offense that we expected to be super scary. Well, they were super scary, but we said that there's going to be somebody that scores a lot of points on the team, and it just fell back to Travis Kelce. I think Toney got traded, so worked in, and he did show a lot near the end of the year in that offense, so there's a good likelihood that he's going to take a step forward and be that one. Am I going to go on a limb and say for sure he's that one? I don't know. You can take your late round flyers still on Sky Moore, Rice, really any of the receivers. Even MBS is probably going really late in drafts, so if you do pick Mahomes early, you could stack that real good, or even get somebody like if you go with the Cincinnati stack, take a flyer on MVS just to help out that potential game stack late in the season. One thing I would like to touch on a little bit is the Week 16 games. These are the Christmas Day games, and it has that correlation that we pushed on so hard in our draft video of trying to stick in your division before you know the actual schedule. So the first game I'm going to talk about is the New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Gotta love it for an Eagles fan playing the Giants probably at the time in the season where the games matter most, especially those late division games help you make the playoff push. But that's me being a fan. Just once again, making the point that it's the correlation with the division. And the other one that actually relates to the draft you see on the board is the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And this was massive for me. I got a couple players from the Raiders. Obviously, I built around the Chiefs in this draft. The Chiefs and the Colts were the two teams that I did, but definitely sprinkled in the Raiders because they were an AFC West team, and it paid off big time. Got Josh Jacobs, could be the running back one on the year again. Who knows? That's yet to be seen for sure. We also have Hunter Renfrow that I took later in the draft, and he's a value at this point, in my opinion, still. He could be the 2 on the team. I make the same argument for Michael Mayer. The only thing I regret about this draft is I wish I would have took Michael Mayer instead of, instead of Kincaid, solely for the fact that that stack would have played off bigger now, but it's all hindsight. So ultimately, this draft turned out super well because of that Vegas stack. The Week 16 helping with the advancement in the Week 17, just got my fingers crossed because, if you're playing the Chiefs, on top of that, that is going to be a high-scoring game. They're going to throw the ball a lot, and they're going to score a lot of points. So hopefully that correlates with the other team doing the same, and it's not too much of a blowout. But overall, I was pretty happy with this draft. I'll kind of go over the people that you see on screen so far. I need to pull up my underdog in order to do this. But got Patrick Mahomes and A-Rich at my quarterbacks currently. I went very, very light on running back, which is almost scary. But I got Josh Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamal Williams. Got a bunch of running backs queued up, as you see there. I heard the rumor of Ezekiel Elliott potentially to Tampa, and I was like, well, he could be the one there. We don't know about White and his production. We don't know if he's going to play a similar role to what Fournette would have if Zeke does go there. I don't know. Just something interesting that may happen, may not happen. Who knows? I ended up taking Jaylen Warren there. I like the idea of him splitting time with Najee. He did it towards the end of the year last year, so I think that's a high-end pick. Like I said earlier, I took Chase Brown just as a spoiler with my next pick there, helping with that correlation of the Cincinnati Bengals Kansas City Chiefs game. I don't really have anybody else from the Bengals, but if he's the primary running back, he could get a lot of work, and Chase Brown was elite at Illinois before he got injured, so we're hoping that correlates to this game and helps us pay off big money in the end. Who else do we got? I go Tanks Bigsby with the next pick here. That's just another safe guy that I think could split some time with ETN. ETN has had his injuries to start his career, and Irwin is strong on believing that he may eat into ETN's time. Eaten ETN's time. Wow, what a line of words to say there. And then did proceed to load up on wide receiver after we drafted Bigsby. Felt like we had enough running backs that could carry us through being 2 starting running backs, and then Jamal Williams potentially being the long-term starter with everything else involved with the rookies that could take over, so on and so forth. The wide receiver room was a little thin. Made me nervous with some of these people because there's a lot of uncertainty with Michael Pittman, Kadarius Toney, Jameson Williams, Zay Jones not being the number 1 target. There's a lot of nerve with the people that I had currently drafted at that point. I'm hoping Pittman is able to take a big step forward, new quarterback, kind of a new system. Everything involved is going to be different, so hopefully Pittman can create some new separation, score a lot of points, along with Kadarius Toney. If he is the one, as mentioned before, he's going to be amazing. JMO not starting the first 6 games is definitely a concern in a lot of ways for me, mainly because I'm getting dead space those first 6 games. But if he comes back, lights the world on fire, should be a pretty decent team. Zay Jones is another guy that he had flashes of greatness last year. I don't think the wide receiver room has changed too much in Jacksonville, excluding Calvin Ridley, and we don't even know if Ridley is going to be as elite as he once was. That's why I currently don't have him. I don't think I've drafted him once because it is first year receiver, first time being with the team, and I don't know if it's going to end up resulting in production or not. So I've avoided it simply for that reason. A person that I really do like a lot is Henry Renfro. Is his value? He could be the two. Mayer is the only other option in my eyes as the two on the team. So getting Hunter Renfro at the late round draft capital that he's going currently is a really good pick in my opinion. I did grab Alec Pierce, like I mentioned. I wanted the triple stacks for both teams, so I got Mahomes, Kadarius Toney, Travis Kelce, A. Rich, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce. So if any of the receiving options have a big game, it's probably going to be those to correlate with the quarterbacks, just hoping that the production is there and everything works great. In this draft, I was trying to pick between a Denver receiver or a Houston receiver. I ended up going Tim Patrick. I've got a long love history with Tim Patrick, essentially, and that's why he resulted on my team over the Houston receivers. I think it's more likely that Russ produces over CJ Stroud, at least initially. I know that's a hard thing to say after what Russ did last year, but it turned out pretty good. So Darius Slayton was the last pick on the team, and then that rounded it out. He's had some big games, and that's the simple way I play him. All right, as I picked him. So here's the whole team on screen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Different style. Hope it turned out well. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a comment letting us know, and we'll do more stuff like this. Thank you guys, and until next time, I'm EJ, and this has been The Climb.